all morning. The Fox 61 Morning News starts now.
And right now at 6 o'clock, another plane crash in Connecticut. Thankfully, the pilot survived, but there's still a little bit of a mystery about what happened.
And monkeypox has been detected in Connecticut. Why health officials say people shouldn't be overly concerned, though.
Also, health officials in Connecticut are working to reassure parents who are on the fence about getting their kids the COVID vaccine.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for being with us and starting off your new day here at Fox 61. I'm Erica Arias.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. After a rainy day for a lot of people, still humid out there as we look over Hartford, New Haven. But I believe the worst of it is gone, even though there's still a lot of clouds. So Matt Scott joins us now with a closer look at what to expect.
Well, you can. Good morning, first of all.
Hi.
Hi again. I haven't seen you in a couple of days.
Yep.
It feels like we got that little anchor chi going on.
Yes.
You like that?
Yes.
We planned that. Listen, we have the rain is done, but not just the worst of it, as you were talking about. The humidity is pretty bad now. We're going to back that off a little.
When is that going to break?
In a couple hours.
Okay.
All right. We'll time
Take
it.
it.
Walk with me. Let's go. Here's what you need to know on this Wednesday. Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Lost all track of days off and whatnot. You take one day off at the beginning of the week and it's gone right down tubes. Muggy start to your Wednesday. There it is. Rain done for now. And once we get past the next few days, we are looking forward to a fabulous weekend. We'll talk about that coming up. 72 in Hartford and New Haven and Groton. 70 in Bridgeport, Norwich, Willimantic. Down only to 69 in Torrington. And then you look at the dew points, if you really want to. Upper 60s to 70, so it is quite tropical. But the good news is, look at the next few hours. Erica, I would say 2 o'clock. Right about there is when it gets a little more tolerable as we go through the afternoon. We have a northwesterly flow starting to emerge, not looking for much, maybe a drip of rain up to the north this morning by the airport. That will be it. We'll get a decent amount of sunshine with temperatures getting into the low to mid 80s. Not bad, right about where they should be. Talk about the numbers, talk about the humidity coming back with a vengeance as they come back and high for the weekend. That answer coming up. Right now, look at the roads. Here's Lauren Zenzi. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning, everyone. 6:02 here in the Fox 61 CTDOT Traffic Center. So far, so good out on the roads. Relatively quiet morning. Let's get you right out to it. Lots of construction is wrapping up this morning. We didn't have a lot of construction over the holiday weekend, but things have kicked back up. Taking a look in Hartford, this is right at 5 and 15, 91 north and southbound. Nice view of the capital city, looking good there. Waterbury to I-84 interchange eastbound. Traffic moving just fine there. Do want to mention that there are 2 cancellations at the airport. We'll get more into those coming up on the Fox 61 Morning News at 6:30. For now, guys, back over to you.
All right, Lauren, thanks so much. We are following some breaking news for you here at 6:03 coming out of New London. Police say a man was killed in a shooting late last night. It happened in the area of Coleman and West Pleasant Street. Police say the victim was taken to a nearby hospital where he later died. Police say the shooting does not appear to be random. We are going to continue to stay on top of this and follow any new information. As soon as we get it, we're going to get it straight out to you here on Fox 61 and also on our news app and on our website as well.
We have developing news out of Plymouth. The Federal Aviation Administration is digging into what caused a plane to crash in the woods in Terryville. And based on the pictures, it looked like a rough landing. First responders said the pilot, who is 80 years old, got himself out of the plane. He only had minor injuries and was the only person on board. The fire chief said around 30 gallons of fuel leaked after the crash. Now, at this point, they don't know if the pilot was trying to take off or trying to fly in and land at the time the crash happened. But the assistant chief of the fire department said what was really interesting here is they got only one initial 911 call.
We only had a single phone call reporting of possible plane in danger, a low-flying plane. So, as we're heading here by the airport here, of course, we were waiting to see if we get more phone calls, which we never did. So we said, okay, maybe it's just a plane that was flying low.
The last 30 years that I've been chief, we've had, I believe, 7 or 8 plane crashes. We saw him just about leaving the plane. So we knew we didn't need any heavy equipment or ladders or anything. So then we just assisted him out to EMS.
And this crash comes just a couple of days after a couple crash landed a small plane into the Quinnipiac River in New Haven.
5 firefighters released from the hospital after they were injured in a fire that broke out at a high school in New Milford. Now, an additional firefighter who responded is still in the hospital this morning. Officials say that fire started yesterday afternoon on the roof of the school and then spread inside. A number of crews from the surrounding area were brought in to help put out the fire. About 100 firefighters responded altogether. No word yet on what started the fire. And at 6:05, a man in New Haven County testing positive for monkeypox, and it is the first known case here in our state. Officials with the Department of Public Health say the man is in his 40s. He has not been hospitalized, and we're told that the patient is in isolation. The State Department of Public Health said that there's very low risk to the general public, but officials didn't say where the individual may have contracted the virus. But officials say that monkeypox can spread through close skin-to-skin contact with an infected person for a long period of time or prolonged respiratory close contact in some cases.
If you have an unusual rash, if you have been exposed to somebody who's had monkeypox, if you've traveled to a country where monkeypox cases have been identified, these would be things to be worried about. In terms of the general population, I don't think you need to be overly concerned.
Now, some of the signs of infection include fever, swollen glands, and a rash. Dr. Druthani says testing is primarily done by swabbing a lesion and then sending it to the state public health lab.
Bridgeport police are trying to find the man you can see here on this dirt bike because they said he stole a gun from the body of a homicide victim, taking it right out of the victim's pockets. Police said it happened June 13th at the P.T. Barnum housing complex. As you can see, you got a good look at who that man is. So please call the Bridgeport police if you think you can help identify him. Well, today, Carl Jacobson will be sworn in as New Haven's next official police chief. He's been with the department for 15 years and has been serving as interim chief. The Board of Alders unanimously voted to confirm him. Remember, there was controversy surrounding the previous acting chief. A judge ordered Renee Dominguez to step down after ruling that she had been in the interim position for too long, essentially so long that it violated the city's charter. Well, happening this morning, there's a national campaign to try to boost confidence in COVID-19 vaccines, and that effort is now reaching local grounds.
The National Diaper Bank Network in New Haven is joining the cause. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc is live in the Elm City this morning with much more on what's happening there. Julia, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning to you. Yeah, we are right outside of the Fairhaven Community Health Center right behind us here. This is where top federal government officials will be coming here today. They're having a conversation and raising awareness about this new campaign, trying to get parents who have children who are 6 months old and older to get their little ones vaccinated against COVID-19. Now, U.S. Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro will be here this morning, and so will the Secretary of the U.S. Health and Human Services Department. Again, for the federal government, Javier Becerra, they will be here. They're the ones running the national campaign called We Can Do This. It is meant to instill confidence in the vaccine by providing information from trusted resources in the community, just like the Fairhaven Community Health Center here. Now, later this morning, they're going to be touring the health center where the little ones will be getting their shots. And this is all, of course, coming after the FDA recently gave approval to offer the vaccine to children as young as 6 months old. That happened on June 17th. Connecticut has since been handing out thousands of vaccinations. And today's event is actually all part of a larger tour that Becerra is going to be making across Connecticut. He is touring different buildings and hosting different roundtables. Not only are they going to be talking about vaccinations, but also about reproductive rights and gun violence as well, especially when it comes to mental health. So a big tour across the state of Connecticut. Fairhaven Community Health Center, one of those main stops. That's happening at 10 o'clock this morning. We will bring that to you live here on Fox 61, and we'll follow all the developments for you throughout the day on air and on fox61.com. For now, though, we are live in New Haven. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61 News.
All right, Julia, thanks so much. Appreciate that update there.
I plan to get to here on the Fox 61 Morning News at 6.
A grieving community searching for answers this morning. This as the suspected gunman in the shooting at a 4th of July parade faces charges.
Also, it was a busy holiday weekend at the airports. We'll tell you just how many passengers were screened by TSA and how that compares to pre-pandemic travel. Also, we'll tell you which airlines are now cutting routes to save money.
And ahead at 6:30 for you, there's a growing danger on our Connecticut roads. But what's being done to address wrong-way driving? We're going to talk about the ongoing effort next. .610 now, Russian President Vladimir Putin is declaring victory in the eastern Ukrainian region of Luhansk. Now, this comes one day after Ukrainian forces withdrew from their last remaining resistance in the province. Russia's ramped up its shelling in the Donbass region in recent days. Ukrainian officials say at least 5 civilians were killed and 21 injured over the last day in eastern Donetsk region. Well, meantime, the NATO alliance is officially inviting Finland and Sweden, with the 30 nations signing off on protocols to make it happen. Their bids await legislative approvals, with a unanimous vote necessary. Russian President Vladimir Putin promises to respond in kind to any military threat. Of course, we'll continue to follow this as the day continues as well. Tim?
Well, there are never any good answers as to why a mass shooting happens, but nevertheless, investigators are looking for a motive in the Highland Park, Illinois shooting that happened on July 4th at a parade. And police said they do have evidence the attack was premeditated. Now, in accordance with the president's proclamation, Governor Lamont ordered flags here in Connecticut to be lowered to half-staff in respect to the victims. Those flags will continue to fly at half-staff until Saturday. Fox's Madeline Rivera is now on the scene in Highland Park with the latest on what happened.
Authorities are desperately seeking a motive for the deadly 4th of July parade shooting as the community focuses on healing.
It's really hard to be here right now.
Sadness sweeping over Tuesday's vigil, honoring the 7 people killed and more than 24 hurt during Monday's 4th of July parade, when alleged gunman Robert Cremo III used a high-powered rifle to fire more than 70 rounds from the top of a building overlooking the route.
You could feel the bullets going by.
Officers reveal Cremo legally bought 5 firearms, including the one used during the shooting, despite making previous threats. Back in 2019, police had responded to a home after a family member reported Cremo threatened to kill everyone inside. Officers then removed 16 knives, a dagger, and a sword from the residence, but
there were no firearms at that time to be removed. There were no red flag laws to go after firearms.
Cremo has been charged with 7 counts of first-degree murder. If convicted, he could receive a mandatory life sentence without parole. Officials estimate he could also face dozens of additional charges.
It's beyond tragic. It's traumatizing.
Meantime, a motive remains unclear, but police say a new photo appearing to show Cremo in a wig and dress as he left the scene shows he was attempting to blend in with the crowd. Officers believe he had been planning this attack for weeks. A bond hearing is expected for Cremo later today, where a judge will decide if he should be released ahead of his trial. In Highland Park, Illinois, Madeline Rivera, Fox 61 News.
A federal judge will sentence former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin for civil rights violations after killing George Floyd. That sentencing is set for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Chauvin pleaded guilty to these federal charges back in December. He is already serving more than 22 years on murder and manslaughter charges. Relief has finally arrived for families dealing with the baby formula crisis. On Tuesday, UPS flew 95 tons of baby formula into Philadelphia. Now, that shipment is part of the Biden administration's Operation Fly Formula program, which is working with other nations to import critically needed baby formula to the states to deal with the shortage. formula traveled all the way from Australia to make it here to the U.S.
We picked up the shipment from a Bub's Australia factory in Melbourne, which was then trucked to Sydney, Australia. It was then loaded on a flight to come here to Philadelphia Airport. This was all completed in one day. After it is unloaded today, it will be delivered soon to various large retailers.
How customers can expect this latest shipment to hit store shelves at stores like Acme, Target, Walmart, and Kroger. And we're told that is going to happen very shortly.
Okay, 6:15. Let's help you plan your day. Meteorologist Matt Scott telling us the humidity is going to break sometime soon.
Which is
said,
good.
right?
Yeah. Well, if you woke up this morning, when we wake up in the middle of the night, you step outside and you just kind of felt like. Whoosh. It kind of really got a little heavy out there after a little bit of rain last night. The good news is it's not going to last for now. Now we do have in the long range forecast coming back humidity, but we'll see if that plays into the weekend too. A little kind of
Up and down?
up and down.
Oh.
That's, by the way, this is the international code for
Up and down.
Up and down. See, now you know. Let's go to the boards, talk about what you need to know for the rest of the week. Muggy morning. It is. That air, you can cut it with a knife. It is very humid. Rain, again, that's not going to last, but it does come back. We talked about this yesterday, how the humidity would be building for the rest of the work week. And the rain's coming back late tomorrow, but mainly into Friday. The good news is, heading into the weekend, we've got dry sunshine to talk about. I got no problem with that. 72 degrees in Hartford, New Haven, Groton. 70 degrees in Bridgeport, the big one right now. Hello, Danbury. You've got 73 degrees. The coolest spot on the board is 69, and that's about where the dew point is averaging. So, yeah, it is. It's not great out there, but it is mostly dry. We are keeping an eye on what it looks to be just a little ripple of rain holding together from Heartland through the Notch, approaching Enfield and Windsor Locks. And yesterday we had a little bit of this rain on the northern border, but it wasn't translating into rain because the atmosphere was too dry. That's not the problem today. We have a little rain now, but don't worry about that. Off towards the west, some showers and storms pushing into the Appalachian spine of West Virginia near Wheeling, Steubenville, Marietta, Ohio, and then a little more rain back over. It looks like a frontal boundary it's a very impressive line. Let's look at it a little closer to that. Got some flash flooding with that approaching Fort Wayne, Indiana, and just missing Indianapolis. So it's a little unsettled off to the west, and eventually that's going to move this way. Muggy for now, and we say that because as we talked about, the dew point will be dropping throughout the afternoon, so that's good news. There's actually a northwesterly wind that's really trying to work its way in. You see the wind flow, according to the guidance, is predominantly southwesterly, but I do think it does push out the moisture a little bit, drops the heavy feel to the air. We do clear it out. Look for a decent amount of sunshine, some clouds in the afternoon. Overnight tonight, it's relatively quiet. We'll start to build the clouds back in tomorrow. Now that southerly flow is back. There's a warm front off towards the west. Right about there, there'll be a cold front developing, and that gives us an opportunity for some decent rain on Friday, when everything is all said and done. We are looking at maybe up to about half an inch to an inch of rain before Saturday is what I really tried to say. And then things look good for the weekend. So no real chances of rain for today or tomorrow. That's certainly some good news. Temperatures into the mid to upper 80s. 85 is your normal, so spot on in Hartford, 83 in Groton. Temperatures tonight, you've heard me say this plenty of times. You usually look at the overnight low. It kind of helps you determine where that dew point is setting up. Notice it's a lot cooler coming up into tomorrow morning, between 59 and 67. So that's pretty much where the dew point will set up. And that is certainly drier than what we're dealing with now. High temperatures tomorrow into the upper 70s, near 80 degrees as we thicken up the clouds. We get a late shower in there. And as we take a look at a 7-day forecast, again, the numbers take a little bit of a hit tomorrow, but they do rebound again. Pretty seasonal temperatures all the way through the 7-day forecast. With the rain for Friday, but again, the difference is, and here's your clue, look at the overnight lows. 64 for Friday into Saturday morning. Saturday night, 58, 59. That's going to be much drier with a lower dew point than what we're dealing with in terms of the next couple mornings. At the shoreline, looking at a high today, very warm, 87, and then 76 for tomorrow with the lower 80s. Beach forecast looking good for this weekend. That is a look at the forecast. 6:20. Erica and Tim, have a great day.
All right, Matt, thanks so much. Well, we hope you stick with us. We have a lot more on tap for you this morning.
Yeah, e-cigarette users are breathing a sigh of relief for now. We'll tell you why the FDA is letting Juul continue to sell its products for the time being.
And what one community in our state is doing to try to prevent gun violence before it happens. The new resource center that is getting a lot of attention.
Plus, how long until we could reach the endemic stage of the COVID virus circulation? We'll tell you what Yale University is saying this morning from a new study.